Well, as for this moment, decided to come back on. Wanted to tell y'all a little special thing. It was earlier in the day that I recorded and uploaded the last of these videos, and today is later in the same day. I've been out uh, to an event at Eckerd's Orchard out there in Versailles. I tell you that sometimes I forget the names of these events after I've been to them, but sometimes I know who I met at the other events. I sometimes even kind of, the names of the vendors even slip my mind, but a vendor who I met in the past at another event just so happened to be out there today and was advertising it on Instagram. I didn't find out until the event this week, so found out a little too late to consider being a vendor, but I'd say it was a good event that I got to go out to just to kind of meet some vendors and meet some new ones, share my little business card with them. I mean, the lady who manages the orchard, I tell you, I met her a few years ago when I kind of took a trip down there, and whether or not she'd remember me after all these years, I don't know, or even recognize me. I didn't get to talk to her today because she looked pretty busy. So, just decided not to bother her at all, even though I probably saw her there a time or two. And I will just kind of say that things had been kind of a little bit strange lately, and it was just kind of good for me to get out there, get a chance to get out there, see how it is, and do a little bit of a relaxing thing in the daytime because it might rain and storm tonight and not be a good night for me to be out, especially not out at the city pool where I'll sometimes go at night. However, we're going to get back to painting this little guy, and I got out the little gold acrylic paint because, as you see on the last one, I used gold for the band of the around the cap. And as we go working on some more, I'll have a little bit more stories to share, a little more stories to tell you all as far as how this is just going to go along, but would also like to mention that we're already starting to paint on this. And of course, we know that the hat is going to be black, and like I was mentioning to you in a little thing in the last video, my first grade art teacher said that black should be the last color we use. And, so I'd say that, of course, even though they said that red and yellow and orange are probably the colors we should use first, I will tell you that there's going to be a little orange in the face to come along later, but we're going to try to do all the, you know, whole painting parts first before we do that. Is just kind of like how, there were just some things we kind of did in school with that art teacher in the first grade where she'd give us like little certain directions to follow, and as for the directions we had to follow, there would be kind of things like some things where we didn't paint the whole thing, some things where we just kind of only painted little designs on things was kind of what she told us to do. Sometimes we would have liked to have painted the whole thing, but that really wasn't what the project was. So I come along here just to say that we got this little band done on here. Perhaps I'd say with no more than we have here to do, there's probably just little bitty chances we could kind of get out a little black and perhaps work on part of the hat. I'd say that no more work than there is in here and no more distance than there is to do. We could probably just touch up a little bit on here, kind of add little pizzazz, color and things to the whole darn hat and make it so it's going to come out very easy and very surely and very slowly. And I say that, like, this is how it shall be. Indeed, indeed, indeed. We kinda work along here. It's all going to be a little good for us. I say, I say, I say. As for this little hat here, we put a little work into it. Make it so it's going to be a little worth your while, worth your look, worth your sight to see. I say, I say. With this little work we go about this, we kinda make it so we're going to have the whole top part of the hat colored in black. Like they say, black is the last color we use. There's probably a place or two where we're going to touch back up with the gold a little later. But as for the brim, we can kind of start to paint on the brim now. Make it so it's going to brighten its day in us and make us see a little light work, little ways we do little things in life. And oh, I say, work just makes a way to us. And then put little design and work in and around the brim to kind of make it so we're going to see what it's going to be like. We're going to get it done here, see a little work involved, make it so we're just going to work our way around this, kind of put a little extra pizzazz, color and stuff into it. I say that for sure, you know. Sometimes, you know, we read about all the celebrities, how hard life is for them. But I tell you, it doesn't work too much for me. There we go. I get to be a common person and kind of do my art in a common way. And I say there's going to be so much to do as we look later on and eventually come to the point where one of these days there's going to be so much more to upload to YouTube. I say that a little work shall brighten us along. We shall see little signs of our art in us. I'll tell y'all that this little work, we make our way about it. And so, this is how we get down to the final work. Get it to where we just get the hat right into place. And so, I say, oh, the ways this work goes on and work is in us. And then come down to where we have the painting just like it ought to be. And then work little ways about things. I say, it's all just going to be a piece of cake. And this is actually a hot pickle, though. Hot dill pickle. I got it out at the event today. And the story is that I also got a chili dog with some cheese. Asked them if they had any diced onions for the chili dog, but they didn't. Didn't have that. Probably had about every other condiment, ketchup, mustard, relish, whatnot else. They didn't have that, so I just enjoyed it with the chili and the cheese. Don't mix any of those other condiments with that. And then I kind of got a little hot pickle with it, and about at the time I finished my chili dog, I kind of didn't really have enough appetite left. Only enough to finish half the pickle, then which I walked around eating with my little bottle of Diet Coke, which was getting kind of warm, and not enough left to wash down the whole pickle if I ate it, so wrapped the rest of it up in a napkin, brought it home, and put it in a little Ziploc bag in the fridge, and took it out down here to finish it. And I mean, it was, I mean, I can enjoy these hot, spicy foods when ever. It is cool enough, but it was so hot out there that I couldn't eat the whole thing. And besides the fact that I was probably just about finished with my Diet Coke, probably, like I said, didn't have enough left to wash the whole thing down, so saved the pickle and finished the Coke and brought it all home. Now, it turned out this video got to be a little longer than the last, so I'd say we're probably going to work on these little pieces of the face next time around. Probably come on here and do a little bit more than that one of these days and have a little more to show and a little more to share. Thanks for watching and take care.